And that's recording. And
well, I might have the approved one like before.
I think I don't know, somebody will need to.
Let me see.
BeatCancer.Org. I started this journey 10 years ago as a colon cancer survivor. At that point in time, went with mostly just conventional treatments. I had chemotherapy and surgery.
Can you guys still hear me? I just had a technical glitch.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
you
we
had a
can
little bit
hear
of playback was coming from Carl's machine.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I think I got it. So that was just playing for some reason. It was that
Yeah, YouTube does things like that. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody, tonight at the BeatCancer.org's weekly Thursday night call.
It's over the phone
We are excited to have you all with us tonight. My name is Marinette Smith. I'm one of the holistic cancer coaches, and we're going to be talking about some fun, interesting things tonight. But just really quick, I just want to go over our disclaimer. Anything that we discuss here tonight is for educational and informational purposes only. If you do choose to take any of this information and would like to implement it into your personal regimen, please speak with your licensed healthcare provider to be able to help make sure that things are safe for you to do so. We don't advise that you just go ahead and, start doing things on your own. We do suggest that it's you work with your medical providers to be able to make sure that you stay safe with those things. But we're going to have a full house tonight. This is exciting. It's exciting. So to start off, Carl and Zach will not be joining us tonight. And the coaches are going to be hosting this call. So this is going to be fun. What we did decide to speak with everybody about tonight is, how can we, or how have we been able to make sustained, longer lasting changes to be able to keep us, cancer-free, cancer prevention, without making yourself feel isolated, without making yourself feel like you're being left out, and being able to continue those changes for lifelong. And so we're going to talk more about coaching tonight and what coaching can offer, how those services are beneficial, and how each of us have been able to maintain our changes over a long period of time so that we're able to stay cancer-free. So if we don't have any questions to start off with, or any of the other coaches wanting to hop in and start that conversation?
I will.
All right, Jackie, let's hear you.
Well, I just want to share my experience of going against the grain with my oncologist. It wasn't easy. Excuse me. I have a frog in my throat. So, they expect you to do exactly what they say and follow the program. And when you don't want to do it, like when I said I'm not taking those cancer medications anymore, I didn't expect to get approval, but I did get respect. But what happened was little things I noticed changed, like what changed? Like he wanted me to be screened more often. He wanted to see me more often. And the implication was, I don't trust what you're doing. So, we need to see each other more. So here's the funny thing. I just got back my Signatera circulating cancer test, and thank God it was negative. And so with that wonderful result, I went in and had my appointment. And I swear he was looking for something wrong. He asked me all these questions. Is this wrong? Is that wrong? Is that wrong? Is that wrong? Is that wrong? I kept saying no. And then he actually examined me, which he never did before, pushing here and breathing here. And at the end of the appointment, I said, well, that was great. I hope they're all like this. And you could tell, like, he's like, yeah, I hope so too. So anyway, that was my experience. And thank goodness I have support for what I'm doing. you know, I have the education that I learned as a cancer coach, and I have an integrative oncologist, but, you know, I understand and empathize with anyone else who wants to go this route. And like to address your question, Marinette, is I think that for sure that a coach would be really helpful because you want somebody to, number one, give you the confidence to stand up to these doctors, and number two, you want someone to applaud you, which you just did, when it's working. So that's my share.
That's wonderful, Jackie. Congratulations on your good news and your test
Thank you
too.
very much.
Yes, it just is a very good testament to, you know, when you put in the work, and it's not easy because that's what we are going to talk about, is how you can make those changes easier. But when you put in that work, you may very well see those amazing results, and especially if you stay with it. And like you're saying, Jackie, you have support. You have an awesome group behind you, and it makes a world of difference. So I think that those are really good points to make. You know, having the support behind you, having people clap for you when you do have those awesome moments that happen. But then, you know, too, I'm thinking on the other side, how about those people that don't have that, you know, in place? Like you were saying, is you know, the coaching piece of it is imperative, I think, especially to be able to help get people to where they're wanting to go, because you need that accountability, you need that support. But what do you do if your family members aren't on board, or the people that you're living with aren't on board with what you're doing, whether you're eating, and the way that you're wanting to change your lifestyle? Do any coaches have any advice on that piece of it?
I'll go with that one. I just actually this week got a new client who who got diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, and the kids contacted me and we started working. But the big problem was the husband was making a decision for the person who was diagnosed with cancer, and the kids weren't agreeing with their father. So there was like this dilemma. And then when we were talking, we met and we were talking, and they were like, you know, how do we approach this? How do we convince our father that there has to be more? Because he was pushing for chemo, radiation, and nothing else. He didn't want to hear about any holistic, any additional, you know,
If the garage isn't opening.
other side of the things. So I, you know, as a coach, I got together with everyone and I said, it's not about what all of you want. It's about what she wants, you know. You cannot make a decision for someone who has a strong state of mind. And instead of confusing her, let her speak and ask her what exactly she wants and how she would like to, you know, take care of this situation. And you, as a family members, you have to support her in the decision that she's going to make. You know, and not to be pushy, because when you push people, I remember from myself, like when people would push me, I would want to do opposite things. You know, I didn't want to do like, I didn't, because I had my own mind, I had my own, you know, opinion on it. And I think that's what, if there's anyone has a family member who is dealing with cancer, give them a space, bring it to the table, introduce it to them, talk about it, but never ever make a decision for them, or you know, or push them to follow your steps, because those are your steps. It's the same thing as a doctor is pushing people, their patients, to get treatment. You know, even though patients have doubts in the treatment, they still pushing them by putting the fear in their body. So we don't need to hear that from family members. So the family members have to learn how to be around them, be supportive, but at the same time not to be pushy or making a decision for their loved ones. So I think that's where for me, that's how it worked. I didn't like when my loved ones would tell me what to do and what not to do, because I wanted to take my own responsibility. So, and I think everyone is, and unless they're lost and they would come and ask for an opinion, that's a different story. So we broke it down and they kind of agreed with that, which was a good thing. And they kind of let the mom to make the decision, and she chose to do both conventional and holistic, work with a coach, change her life, and at the same time do the conventional treatment. That's her choice, right? So that's what everyone agreed upon. So it's pretty good.
Thanks for sharing that, Maya, because
You're
you bring
welcome.
up a really good, excellent point that, it really is the person who's going through the situation's choice. And many times our loved ones can, and with very good intentions, can, want to have their wants, their desires, the way that they're wanting things to go, really being influenced on the person that's going through the situation, and really, taking a step back and just saying, hey, I support you. Hey, and maybe asking them questions like, why are you wanting to go down this path, so that there's education and understanding. And I think that, when you're going through this situation, we all tend to do our, own due diligence or research. And so many of us do. And so when you are wanting to go a certain direction, just having your loved ones support you with what you're wanting to do and be able to help guide you is probably one of the best things that will help that person. Again, I think, and I can say this too from, a nursing perspective, where I had spent years, working with other loved ones. And I think on a caregiver side, it's sometimes harder because they're not the person going through it. They're not the ones they just want to be able to fix it. They don't want to lose the person that they're trying to support. They want to be able to help them. They want to be able to help provide for them and support them, and ultimately get them to the point where it is on the other side, where you're post chemo, where you are a survivor and you are thriving. And so, understanding too that there's another aspect of caregiver support that a coach can also provide. And so it's really not just the cancer patient or person who's going through cancer. It's a whole support system when you're working with a coach. So I think that's something just good to remember too. I did see a question here, though, really quick in the comments, and it says chronic lymphatic leukemia, so CLL, for my sister-in-law. Any experience dealing with this disease? And that came from Orlando's iPad. Or Orlando, do you have anything else that you'd like to add to that question? That you're wondering about? We can go off topic a little bit from what we were talking about to answer your question, but if you have any more information on that, because there are quite a few coaches who have experience in helping people with CLL. And I'm not sure that we have any on the call right now, but I know that there are certain coaches that have also had this illness as well before in the past. So is there anything specific that you're wanting to ask for that? You can unmute yourself and we can try to answer your questions. If not, Harmonious, I see you have your hand raised. We can go ahead and yeah, and we can get to you. Let's see here. Hold on, sorry, one moment. It looks like Orlando had said, can we send coach info to your email? So what we can actually do is, there is on our directory side on the website on BeatCancer.Org. If you go on to there on the very top of the web page, it says find a holistic cancer coach, and you can search through the coaches that way and see if there is somebody that's specifically fit with who you want to work with. We have many coaches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that I can see on here, 8 that I can see on here, just off the top of my head. So there's quite a few options to you. But if you do go to BeatCancer.org and go to find a holistic cancer coach, you can go through and you can see everybody's specialties. There's certain, backgrounds and experiences that certain people have. So you can definitely go there. And I'll even put it in the chat.
Yeah. Annette, why don't I take the questions? And if you want to run the show,
Oh,
if you
okay.
want to do that, so you won't get like
Back and forth. Okay,
back
thanks.
and forth. Okay.
Thank you, thanks. All right, Harmonious, we'll get to you now. Thank you for your patience.
Yeah, thanks. And I'm only going to take a second, but just as a matter of technical, because I'm such a geek, generally speaking, there's something running when Maya unmutes her mic and is speaking. There's something low level. There's a low level dialogue happening in a window. I think it's probably happening in one of your browser windows that you can't quite detect.
No, it was actually my daughter. She's on the call also.
Oh, okay.
So I had to send her away.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't realize like it was going through my call too.
I didn't think you could hear it very loudly in your own call, so I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah.
That's all I had to say. So thanks for listening. Thank you.
I actually, if it's okay, I want to answer Orlando's question on CLL. CLL, I mean, like any other cancer, those type of cancers are a bit different from the cancers that grows in the tissue. And the approach would be, I mean, basic approach would be the same. The basic approach when we talk about is when you change your diet, your lifestyle, your sleep, you're cleaning up around yourself and putting yourself on the right path. So those are the basic like approach we talk about. So, and then I just actually read an article about blood cancer, CLL, leukemia, lymphoma, multiple myeloma is based on quantum physics, exposing your body to a sunlight. And when there's a light, there's a buildup of oxygen in human body. And that oxygen is basically healing mechanism of the many conditions, including cancer. So we know the cancer cannot survive in oxygenated environment. So what creates the oxygen is basically light. So, and a morning sunrise with infrared like light and the purple light, that helps the body to create that oxygen, but it gives the body more energy and more oxygen, and plus it's affecting mitochondria in production, so many antioxidants, and it's actually very beneficial for those type of cancers, include any other cancer, but particular for those type of cancers. So I would say in addition to dietary changes, to sleep cycle and everything, and of course exposing yourself into the sunlight, many things had changed do change in the body, including cortisol shift. Cortisol goes down, that's when blood sugar levels will go down, and circadian rhythm kind of balances itself, which brings the body to that homeostasis level, and the body can heal itself. So it's something that to pay attention to and not to be ignorant in that part. That's I would want to add to everything else that we offer. I mean, we talk to clients about.
Thanks, Maya. That's a good one. And I think this goes in along with what we're saying, what we're talking about tonight too is, how do we make these changes and make them last longer? And, how do we keep them and have them stay around? And our lifestyle and our diet is a huge part of it. It's a huge part of it. I just think about myself going to, on vacation, and we've gotten used to a certain way of eating, and you want to enjoy yourself, right? Well, really, are you going to enjoy yourself if you're eating that, cookie and that cake and drinking those sugary drinks and eating all those processed foods? Like, really, are you partaking in it, or actually are you harming yourself again? So it's those mindset shifts that really are key into our outcomes. They really are. So, along with, what you were talking to Maya about the sun, but even just, environmental detoxing, I mean, people like to have their air fresheners in the house, right? So people were so used to that being like a clean smell. That's how you smell everything, right? It's clean, with their air fresheners, but you take those away and people come into your home and it doesn't smell the same, or it smells more earthy or natural. And that might deter somebody from continuing to keep those those wallflowers, there's air fresheners, no longer in their home if they get enough consistent complaints about it, that they might not continue to go down that route. So what are some other alternatives that people can do? And so I don't know if you guys have anything else to add to that, but I know that that's where I found myself even, over the years, because I've been going through this for 10 years. I'll get off the wagon, and not in a small way, in a big way. And it is because of a lot of these things, life happens. Maybe a couple of people make a few comments about your food or the way you're living or the smells. And you might go back to the other ways of living. So how do you keep those lifelong changes? What's the key to that? Who wants to answer that question for me?
Actually,
I do know an answer,
yeah.
but
Yeah, I want to add something else to that. I've been very interested in quantum physics, and the healing process of human body, and it's so fascinating how much our human body is being attached to the nature. I mean, we are part of this nature, as every other living creature in this world. The plants are part of nature, animals are part of nature, and we're the same way. So when we read science, the science is based on certain way of delivering that, whether it's food or herbs or whatever we've been exposed. But that science, I realized, never ever has been done together with inputting like sunlight or being in nature, grounding, or anything like that. It's never been done together. It's been done, let's say, if we take Tylenol, what kind of effect of the Tylenol is going to be on human body, or when people go through chemo radiation, what kind of effect. But it's never, ever been done together with nature or with any other aspect of life. And there's a lot that we're missing in the picture when it comes to human body or a human healing process, the way the body works and the way, we go just simple grounding that helps rebuild human circadian rhythm, or helps to give us energy more than we can get energy from food we eat, and we've been misled and misguided in that part, and being exposed to a lot of blue lights, which is surrounding us a lot. And a lot of studies has been showing that blue light destroys the mitochondria, function of the mitochondria. It puts the mitochondria from making energy the way it does, from electron transporter chains, it switches to other form of making energy, and that's where the damage to the mitochondria happens. And the main thing of those blue lights, the way it destroys the mitochondria, it's kind of dysfunction, the production of certain antioxidant, and one of them melatonin, because melatonin is not just a sleep-wake hormone. It's a hormone. It's also antioxidant that actual mitochondria produces in very high levels. And the blue lights completely destroys that. And the mitochondria comes before even glutathione in the science, the way it works in human body. And how can we increase that? By just basically putting ourselves into the nature, being exposed to natural light instead of fake lights, because that's what our DNA meant to have. before the light bulbs were invented, we lived by circadian rhythm. When sun goes down, we would go to sleep, and when sun goes when with sunrise, we would wake up. So those steps are so important in healing when it comes to cancer or any other health conditions. I cannot even address that enough, because I've seen that so many times. Like, people would be on a perfect diet, they would take their supplements, they would improve until certain point, and then they would get that plateau, and they cannot, go to a next level. And that's what I think that we're missing from the picture, that connection to the nature, that connection to the universe, that connection to the, to our basically home, I would say. That connection, we left at home, So that's what I want to talk about, and just bring it to the table.
Okay. Yeah, no, that was really good, Maya. Like, you have really good points with all of that. And I've, as you were talking, I'm kind of wondering too, when we're not part of nature, when we're not doing the things that we know we should be doing, does that also bring into the cascade of when we're starting to fall off the wagon again, so to say? I mean, it's not like it's a completely different way of living. And when you're not incorporating those things, you're not incorporating your spiritual life, you're not incorporating nature and being out in nature, removing the blue light as much as possible, making sure that your mitochondria are functioning well. And that also is part of your lifestyle factors, but making sure that your melatonin production is well too. I mean, like, all of that is vitally important. And, some of those pieces, if they're missing, they could deter you. So I think that's why it's really important that we really address our health and in our situations as a whole. It's a holistic approach. It's the whole aspect. It's you as a whole in your whole life. And so it's not just one piece here. It's not just the one piece there. It's not just the light here. It's not melatonin here. It's not the food here. It's all of it encompassing. And when we start to lose that one piece even, or we even like maybe lose one or two pieces, and it might just be small, then here might come other pieces that start falling off and other pieces. And before you know it, you might be starting to go back into your lifestyles that you were previously before you had cancer, which then we know that they're not conducive. They are conducive for cancer. They're not anti-cancer lifestyles. So how do we keep ourselves with those, without missing those pieces? Accountability with coaches, with community. Community is huge too. I think it's really important that when you're going through cancer, you have a good support system, and not just people, your loved ones, your friends, your family, but other people that have gone through cancer themselves. And that makes a huge difference. And so being able to help keep yourself on track with the anti-cancer lifestyle is approaching your whole self. Really, truly it is. And not just that part of it, but just making sure that you have the right support and the right support systems in place. So I don't know if anybody else wants to add to that. I just was thinking about this earlier this week about how, many of us, even I think as coaches, we get into this and we're wanting to be able to provide education information that we didn't have. We want to be able to help give support in the accountability support that we didn't have. But we as the coaches also need to be able to do that for each other. We do that with each other. And that's pretty important to have that stability there. But
I'll just
Deb?
raise my hand.
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm having some serious Zoom issues, so I'm sorry. And if it starts clapping or hearts start flying, then I apologize, because everything is really delayed. So I apologize. Just to add on that, if for some reason, so you have a patient or you yourself. I know for myself, if you are rendered immobile and you can't get outside, because being outside in the sunshine and just being able to ground, can be difficult, obviously, if you're immobile. But just being, if you have a balcony, or if just being near,
Uh-oh, I think she froze again. Zoom's not been her friend lately.
I know, yeah, she's been dealing with Zoom
Yeah.
big time. Yeah.
So, from the coach's aspect, what are some things that you tell or have clients do to be able to help them stay on track and to be able to make those lifelong changes. Do you help people make those smaller changes, or do you have people go in, full force and make changes all at once? How do you help cancer patients do that?
It's very hard for people to switch in one day unless they have this like a huge willpower to do something like that. But for me, the way I do see from many people I worked with is to teach them about what human body is all about, what we are made of. I think the confusion comes because people don't know that. And I was there myself, even though I graduated nursing school. When I was diagnosed with cancer, I was completely lost. I had no idea. But so I had to go back to books. I had to go back to read about human biology, to learn about, what we are made of, what exactly human body is, and what do we need? And be honest with you, we don't need whole a lot. We don't need, all we need is just I tell them, like, for me, my end conclusion, I came to this, like, going backward 5,000 years ago, the way our ancestors lived. I think that would be the best and safest way of taking your body to that stage where it needs to be. So very simple, working with biological clock, your body meant to do that. The way body goes off balance because you put the body off balance. The way we cause stress, and then we would say stress is bad for us, we don't even realize the cortisol. We name cortisol the bad, stress hormone, but it's not the stress hormone because human body never makes anything bad. It doesn't make bad cholesterol. It doesn't make bad estrogen. It doesn't make anything bad. What we've been exposed to changes the things in our body, but that doesn't mean they're bad. We just have to learn how to balance the cortisol levels, how to balance out, how to bring our body to that biological clock, work with it. And that's the best way for people. Like, I explain what circadian rhythm is, what exactly happens when we follow the circadian rhythm throughout the day, what exactly happens in human body in very simple and basic ways for people to understand that. Because when they see that, people do hear, oh, you got to sleep 8 hours a day. We can hear that everywhere. Mm-hmm. You got to go to bed at 9 o'clock. And we can hear that, but why? Why do we have to do that? That's another step. I explain why do we have to do that? What exactly happens every hour at night in your body while you're sleeping? And why is that sleep is different from the sleep when you sleep in the morning, the same 8 hours? So there is a difference in the body, the way it functions. So that's how I work with my client. That's how I explain to them. And once they understand, they work on it. They do their work. They start going toward that path, to rebuilding their body, their function, because we have everything input in our system. Our body inside has its own rules and laws that we cannot win over. It's been put by the creator or God, whoever we believe in, and it's not up to us to change them. We cannot make those changes. Body has its own rules, and we have to play with it. We have to learn how to play with it. And that's what I could say.
That's awesome.
Thank
you. Go ahead,
I'd like to bring in another perspective, not different than that, just in addition to that, is that, like, for example, one of my clients is just going through a very difficult time and is the sole caretaker for her ailing mom. So she doesn't have a lot of support, and she doesn't have like people to cheer her on. So what I did is I encouraged her. Number one, she lives in New York, and I said, I'm pretty positive that Sloan Kettering has an integrative oncology center. Well, sure enough, she went, and they do, and it opened up so many possibilities for her, like I don't know, yoga and meditation and groups and acupuncture. And not only are those things good for her, but through doing those things, she can meet like-minded people who can become part of her support system. And I've been finding out there's so many resources, particularly for breast cancer survivors. I mean, I'm going on a vacation in October for a week because this organization gives free vacations to cancer survivors. Like, and it's just a matter of connecting people with them. If they can't afford a coach, they can get a mentor that, just gives them emotional support. If they don't want to do that, they can, wherever the hospital is that they're going to, usually has support groups. So I just try to help a person make their cheering section bigger. And like, I don't know what I would do if my husband, who I live with, had doubted my course because, he has a lot in the game. Like, if what I do doesn't work, obviously that's not going to be good. And him saying to me, like, I absolutely support you totally, it made it so much easier for me to have someone who believes in me. And then I'm so confident then in what I'm doing that it's easy for friends to believe in me because I believe in myself. And then they see that I'm actually doing this for a living. So that's kind of my perspective on this.
That was so great, Jackie. I mean, excellent point that there's people out there that can be found. You just need to know where to find them or have somebody help you find them. And many, hospitals, oncology departments, they have support groups. They have caregiver even support groups. Yeah, and those are even super great. And so really, I love how you worded that. How did you say that again?
I try to help them build their cheerleading team.
Yes, that's so awesome because who doesn't need a bigger cheerleading team, right? And especially when you're going through this, the more you have, people on your side to be able to help support you, the better off you're probably going to be. And I think, sometimes you can feel probably alone. You may feel a little bit of isolation, but realizing that there are resources out there, that there are people out there to help you that want to help you, it can open up a whole new world for somebody that truly, truly can. So one thing that I like to do is I like to tell patients to take baby steps. And I've done this even when I was a wellness coach. I did this even as a nurse. If you have the time to be able to make smaller changes over time, it's probably best to do it that way than to be able to just go all in, because every time that I would go in or I'd see a patient go all in or a client go all in, whether it be a diet or lifestyle situation, it only lasts for so long. And then people would crash again and they'd find themselves right back into the same spot that they were in. I would do the same thing for myself, even after cancer. So one key thing that I've found is not changing too much at once and taking those baby steps. So maybe if it's, say you're a soda drinker, you love your soda, but it just seems almost impossible to be able to get rid of. What's one way to be able to do that? Cut it out 3 times a week. For a whole day, just cut it out for 3 times a week, then move to 4, then move to 5. So you're taking those small baby steps to be able to make those lifestyle changes and to be able to help make them last longer. And the one thing that happens is when you're doing it that way, you're showing your support system, your loved ones, your caregivers, your people that are there for you, your family, those habit changes and how they're going to stick. And then once they see that you're able to make that lasting change, a lot of times what ends up happening is those people will start jumping on board and want to do the same thing with you because they're seeing that you can keep up with it. It's actually helping you, and it's not interfering in your life. If anything, it's making things better. So that's one thing that I like to try to point out for people to be able to help with those lasting longer changes. But does anybody else have anything to add? Melissa, Deborah, any other coaches? Leonard? See on there a couple twice. I don't know if anybody else has anything else to add, but so too, how do you stay on board? So the other thing is too, is having conversations with people like your family, your loved ones, and, providing them with the same education or information that you yourself have received and why you're wanting to do, a certain step. Say it is you're wanting to, go to more whole foods and getting rid of processed foods. Provide those people with the same information that you receive so that everybody's on the same page. That helps alleviate a lot of confusion. It helps them too to be able to help support you and understand. And then you're educating the other people that you love to be able to help them hopefully change lifestyle habits and dietary habits so that their health also improves. So that's another way to be able to help with it. Does anybody else have anything to add? Not so much. Any other coaching practices that anybody wants to share, little tips or tricks that could be beneficial? I think I just had something. Sorry, I heard some sounding in my ear and in the background, but so what's another added thing too? Oh, also making sure that you're not changing too much at once, like we were talking about. There are some really simple, great free apps out there to be able to help change your lifestyle habits. One is called Detox Me. And it's a free app, and it walks through pretty much every area of your home and then also some personal care items and shows you how to remove toxins in your lifestyle and what to replace them with. And then it also educates you on why. And then there was another one that's called, I just need to pull it up off of my phone really quick. It's called Clear. Yeah, it's spelled CLEAR and then YA. And that one also does a lot of the same things. So you can actually look up certain ingredients from various brands and you can see if they're safe, if they cause any issues. Another one is EWG, the Environmental Working Group. They also have another great app. And
Plus
the other one
Yuka.
is Yucca. Yep. Yep. How do you spell that one? Do you know?
YUKA.
Perfect.
And you just scan the barcode on the food and it rates it from 1 to 100, 100 being the best. That's what I use.
Mhm.
And my husband too. And we've both gotten healthier because of that.
That's wonderful. So your husband's on board with using that app?
Yeah,
That's great.
he tells everybody about it. He's like, "Oh, you got to check out this great app." Yeah, a lot of people in our area are using it now.
That's so awesome. It's just simple stuff like that, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's just easy. Thank goodness for the people that created those things, though. It makes life a lot easier. I know like 10 years ago, they didn't have that stuff around and you had to do a lot of research on your own, but they're pretty handy. They're pretty handy. And there's lots of great resources. Even on our website, if you go to BeatCancer.org and you scroll down to the bottom and you go to blog posts, you can type in, whatever it is that you're looking for, whatever information it is that you're looking for to get more understanding on. You can type it in and you can come up with various different articles and information and educational information to be able to help you out as well. To be able to help sustain those changes and to be able to help support you. So what do you?
I think I'm back. I think I'm back.
Oh, hi, Deb. 15
It's
minutes
a
lasting.
completely different platform and everything. So yeah, I think I'm here. I think I'm
Oh,
here for the duration now. So yeah, I'm not sure what is going on, but I think I'm back. I got the right platform for it, and we're good to go. So,
good
but so
deal.
I wanted to add. So I wanted to add what you're saying before something does happen and things start changing radically, is we talk about our patients and everything and whatnot about how to help them and keep them on board. But even as coaches ourselves, trying to keep ourselves on board as well. Having had cancer, I think sometimes, and we've had a little bit of this conversation before, Marinette and I did, is like why do you get off track? Why is that? Why do you get off track? How do you get off track? And I think sometimes when it kind of comes down to it, especially when you've been away or you forget,
Mhm.
you forget. And it's really about being humble and about remembering. And being a cancer coach is certainly one way to keep yourself on track, believe it or not, because every day it's about gratitude and grace, and just being able to help people. So every day that you're here and every day that I'm here, I've pretty much told myself that that's what I want to do. I want to be able to help people, and then in so doing, don't forget about yourself as coaches to help and get that help as well if you're falling off, so to speak, the food wagon, I like to call it, because I know there are times for me, stress and whatnot is I can very easily go down that rabbit hole where I'll be like, oh, I'm good if I just eat this, or if I just do that, it'll be okay. Well, next thing you know, 3 months down the line, you're still doing that, and it's God, no, it's like keeping yourself on track, and for even as coaches, it does take a village, and we are your village for one another as well to help with that. So I just wanted to bring that up as well, and yeah.
No, it's such an excellent point, because I did space that piece of it that we were talking about when we were talking about the topic for tonight, is having that gratitude, being thankful for the day that we still have, that we're still here. And that's not even post cancer, that's while you're going through it. I remember in my journal, I would write down almost every day what I was thankful for, almost every day. And it would help keep what was in, my mind alert, and a reminder of what I was fighting for every single day, what I was going through, all those terrible side effects, the medications, everything else, the pain, like just knowing that you are grateful still, and there's still hope, and reminding yourself of that really can be super powerful. Does anybody have like a practice for gratitude that they like to share with their clients? Jackie, Maya,
Well,
Deb?
I mean, I have my own practice. It's part of, it's actually prayer the first thing in the morning, where it actually has three parts. The first part is gratitude. And I kind of have someone that I meet with, that like my spiritual coach. It's really, really helpful. And I was telling her that this practice that I've been doing for a few months now, that is starting to feel kind of rote. And so the first part is gratitude. The second part is review the day yesterday. What could I have done better? What could I improve on? And the third part is making requests. So her suggestion was, do you usually say the same things that you're grateful for? And I said, yeah, probably. I try to look for more things, but there's some basic things that I'm always grateful for. Big one is my health. So she said, try to think of things that you don't normally think of. So, like, we were sitting in a room with a window, and I was observing the sky and how nice the cloud looked against the blue sky. And so I think it was a good suggestion that, yeah, there are some basic things that we're grateful for, but what about like a little thing? Or what about, like, I live on a nice street in a neighborhood that's good for walking. So, I mean, if I was working with a client on this, I would obviously encourage her in the same way. Also, that was similar to what others were talking about, how to instill habits. I was recently on vacation, and I was actually very lucky because it was a river cruise, and I told the cruise line about my dietary uh, restrictions and preferences. And I mean, I kind of want to share the name of the cruise line, because I had the restaurant manager sit down with me every morning and go over my meals for the day. I mean, if anybody wants to ask me privately, I'd be happy to share it. And then, I mean, it was just incredible. And I saw him doing the same with other people who had dietary preferences. My advice on that is, if you're not sure whether a place can, like, help you with what you need, ask. I never thought that they would do this so personally. It was just amazing.
That is so cool. That is awesome. But you're so right. If you just ask, and there's so many places that will be so accommodating, it might seem like you're putting somebody out and you don't want to bother anybody, but really you're not. People are very, very willing to help you and they want to. But that's just wonderful. That's so good. And Jackie, yeah, you're right. Just the small, those little things. Oh, we just got to remember to be grateful for them. We get so busy and inundated with life and everything else going on, we forget about, just looking at the sky, being thankful for, our surroundings, being thankful for being able to have clean air to breathe or clean water to drink.
Being able to get healthy food.
Yes, yes. They're all super, super important. And
And
it's, oh,
oh,
go ahead.
sorry to interrupt, but one of the things, my mobility.
Mhm. It is. That's a big one, isn't it? Yeah.
Being physically fit.
Yeah. Yeah, and it makes such a difference. And it's interesting and there's so much scientific, backing this, but when you notice those things, your brain starts to change to be able to notice those things. So you start to become more positive. You start to be able to see more of the light and the love and the good in life, and not so much of, the negatives. And so it actually does help to rewire your brain, and especially when we're going through like a illness like this or whatnot, a lot of times that's not been at the forefront of our minds, loving ourselves, being thankful for the movement that we have, being thankful for the day that we have ahead of us, even being able to reflect and say, what can I change? And then knowing that you can improve yourself, those personal growth pieces. But yeah, it's amazing. And they're so impactful. They're so impactful and powerful. It's those little things that really make the big, big difference.
In a way, it's kind of like going back to the basics,
Mm-hmm.
just keeping it simple, every morning starting out and just making, uh, celebrating you, I guess is what I'm trying to say, is taking that time, even if it's 10, 15, 20 minutes to breathe, meditate, go outside, sit on the grass, or, whatever it might take, just to listen in the quiet and the stillness,
Yeah.
is sometimes some of the best medicine you could ever possibly do for yourself.
Yeah. Just waking up every morning, because there's 2 million people who won't wake up in the morning. Just waking up in the morning and be grateful for that. And taking that breath is just I would say it's so big. Just being grateful for that. Knowing there's so many people who won't wake up in the morning and won't take that breath. It's so important. Like I like stand, for example, when I take a shower, I stand and I imagine the shower is a source of energy and it just comes and it goes through my body and cleans it up. And I'm just grateful for that. Grateful for very little simple steps in your life. Because in a life, I always ask myself a question like, how much do we really need as a humans? Like, what exactly do we need as a humans? Being in this world. Because we come to this world naked and we leave this world naked. What we create in between, it's all us doing that. And to be happy, how much exactly do we need? That question always crossed through my mind. And I realized for me and my family, the simplicity is the best thing to do. Just being grateful for being here for each other. Like
Mhm.
I'm grateful being in a group of people that always encourage me. We encourage each other, we support each other. It's a big thing for me. And then like being grateful for your family who is there for you, all the time. And just being grateful for being able to provide a food you want to provide for yourself. And just take it easy and relax. So, you know, that's all. And just write in your journal what exactly do you want, from your life.
Oh, exactly, Maya. Because your brain really doesn't know the difference between reality and fiction. Your brain
Nope.
believes whatever it tells you. Your brain believes
Mhm.
everything that it tells you. So if you tell yourself that the sky is going to be green enough times, your brain is going to start thinking the
Yeah,
sky is green. But really, it
yeah,
does. It makes a huge difference. If you want to see your life turn a different way, write it out. Write out your whys. Write out why do you want to be able to beat this? Why do you write out why you want to be able to get better? Write out why you want to be able to stop certain medications or change your lifestyles. Those are so important because they're vital to being able to make those changes and make them sustained and last a long time. And the other thing is then because your brain really does need to get the buy-in for it too. But we've been
yeah,
so inundated with so many other things that it's really just stopping and taking that pause
right.
and reminding yourself of your why, really,
Yeah.
the why.
Eh, yeah, and the one last thing is like trust your own body, like intelligence of your own body, because that's another part that a lot of people when I talk sometimes about mindset and being positive and stuff, I was my client, they would say, okay, but how can I get rid of cancer? You know, this is a question I always get asked. How can I get rid of cancer? I'm like, it's not you who's going to get rid of cancer. It's your body is going to get rid of cancer. You know, it's you. Your job is to focus on putting your body in that stage when it's capable to get rid of cancer. You're not going to be able to get rid of cancer, but you wanting that and doing everything and being grateful that you're doing what you're doing, then yes, there's a great chance to get rid of cancer. Because you know, whatever doctor tells people, it's not true. It's not in the present moment. So if you tell yourself a lie that your body is healthy and it's getting rid of cancer, even though if it's not true. So they both are not true. They're not at present moment. So the choose more positive state than the choosing negative state and being always like worried about like, oh, doctor told me that, doctor told me this, but instead choose something positive. Like I want to be in 3 months, I want to be that it's at the stage where it's going to shock my doctor. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm big grateful for that. So it's all your body listens to your mind, to listens to it listens to that energy, and it would reconstruct itself to listen to that energy. So
Oh,
and
Maya, sorry, I was gonna say you've hit it on the
the
head. You've hit it on the head. I mean, I know we're running a little bit out of time. I just wanted to add, Maya, you're right, because I would not have been able to do what I did last year. And that was go hike. I did the Via, I don't know if you did do the Caminos, if you're familiar with those at all or anything, but I did the Via di Francesco, which is hiking from
yeah,
Florence, Italy to Rome. And we did it via Assisi and then down to Rome, 365 miles. This was not quite a year after my cancer diagnosis, after my reconstructive surgeries, after all the other surgeries that happened, and you know, before that, during that, and whatnot. But it was that trip alone, being out there with a backpack, just a backpack, me, my thoughts, the reason why I'm doing the you know the St. Francis, the way of St. Francis is what this was. And you don't have to be religious. You don't have to be Catholic to do it. I'm not Catholic, but I did it. And boy, howdy, did I learn a lot. What was amazing was every single day for 6 weeks, I was outside and I was hiking and hiking and hiking and hiking. And it was grueling. It was the best thing I ever could have done for myself because I proved to myself that I could still do something. Cancer didn't rule who I was. I was in charge.
yeah,
I am the master. I'm the captain,
yeah.
not
You are,
cancer, right?
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
so important. And to be outside, to be able to decompress, to be able to actually become one with everything that was surrounding me at that time. And I wasn't around a whole lot of people. I did go with 3 other people, but it was really a lot of the times I'm hiking by myself. I held myself back because obviously I'm not I wasn't an avid hiker. I thought, oh, sure, I could do this. Grabbed a backpack, went to REI and got my shoes and off I went. And lo and behold, it was the best experience of my life. It was a transformational piece of my
Yeah.
life. And I was about to say, I would encourage anybody to do it. I am encouraging people to find those things that will transform you, that just impact you so much that it just really changes you. It transforms you. I don't want to say change, because change means you can invariably go back. We're not changing.
Yeah.
We're going forward, and we want
Yeah.
to transform. So that's how I look at things anyway.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely it was amazing.
Yeah.
And trying
You, yeah, you took the spontaneous, like, you went spontaneous. You did not let cancer to stop you. Like, you continued with your life. And that's what we're talking about. Don't let the cancer to stop you, because cancer is not like, for me, it's like, it wasn't there to take me away, but it was there to change me. And oh boy, like, my life had changed completely. Like, I don't think so I would have become a person who I am today if I would have never had cancer. I would have probably be at the stage of functioning, not living. There's two stages that I divide my life with: functioning and then living. Intentionally living your life. So that's what, like, for me, that's how cancer worked. I remember when doctor told me, I had my daughter with me at the appointment, when the doctor were telling me that I had 15% survival rate. And I look at my daughters, and she was 14 at the time. I look at her face, and her eyes were full of fear. We walked out the door, the doctor's room, and I said, Serena, I'll be that 15%. I claim that 15%. I knew at the time that I'm going to be that 15% no matter what. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, when you put your mind in that direction and you don't let anyone to change your mind, you just don't let anyone to do that. And you just go for it no matter what. You're going to get there.
Exactly. You're
Right?
so right,
Mia, Maya,
Maya.
I like that living versus functioning.
Yeah.
That
Mhm.
is so true. And honestly, and when we were talking about, I had to chuckle earlier because you were talking about, oh, we're cleaning and, and doing all of that. That's what I've been doing. I thought, I want to go back to where I have everything I can put in a backpack and I'm good. And so I have been throwing clothes not away. I'm donating them to a wonderful organization here. But it is, I feel like, I'm taking control back again, because in a way I feel like I've kind of lost that.
Yeah.
Life in general, everything that happens can have such an incredible impact. It's like, well, time out, take a breath, and get back to that feeling for me that I had when I was on that journey in Italy. And it was priceless. And to me, it was basics. It was simplicity. It was love, laugh, live. And that saying is huge, is absolutely huge. So embrace it, embrace it, embrace it. Right?
Yes.
Yes. There's one thing I do want to mention that, a lot of times when we're talking about cancer for ourselves, I like to reframe, and I like to have clients reframe how they think about cancer. So when you say my cancer, you're owning the cancer. You're owning it as part of you. And your brain, again, we were talking about how your brain will believe that. So instead, try to change it from my cancer to the cancer.
The cancer,
Or the cancer that I'm dealing with, or it is just cancer. It's not your cancer. It's not, it's trying to be a part of you, really trying to. It's trying to take over, but it isn't truly a part of you. It's just a symptom of really the terrain that's going on in your body, and the side effects, everything that's going on in your body, the toxic overload, the whatever else it's been exposed to, and it's trying to keep that balance, trying to keep that homeostasis. But when you reframe it and say the cancer or cancer, then your body starts to believe that it's separate. It's no longer a part of you any longer. And so, and it's, if you go back in and you start looking at like the neuroscience and everything behind it, there really is so much proof to that. It's just like with any other disease or illness. If you start to say my pain, you know, the pain that I'm dealing with, like if you constantly are trying to think about the ailment or the disease or the illness, that's what your brain's going to focus on instead of trying to focus on the opposite without the illness, without the disease, without the symptoms. So if you simply just try to reframe that, that can also be another big help to be able to help get you past certain
Yeah.
things.
And another thing is like people you surround yourself with. It matters a lot. You don't want to surround yourself with people who you don't feel comfortable. You know, if you feel that, right? Yeah. Right. It's like if you feel like people are giving you that, like if you don't feel comfortable, if you feel like people giving you this negative energy, just like step back. Just go to a place where you feel more comfortable and more like, you know, because it's all about you. It's not about like other things. At this moment belongs to you. The cancer, going through cancer, it belongs to you. And you have to feel comfortable. You have to feel good. You know, it's not about other people, and it's not selfish to wanting that, you know, and just let it be. You're not like, you know, my sister was so, I mean, I know she loves me and she was worried about me, but her worriness were going under my skin and were making me worried, right? So it's like, yeah, she's type of person. Yeah. I know it was going under my skin. We should call and cry and like, oh. I was like, look, if you're calling me, call and talk to me about everything but my condition. Anything you want to call, anything you want to talk about my condition, and don't put that negative energy around me, because I work very hard to break down that negative energy when you don't see me. And I don't want like within that 5-10 minutes that I'm talking to you to get that negative energy back. So it's like you can be honest with people. You can talk. That doesn't mean you don't love your loved ones. You're like sending them away. No, you're just letting them know how you feel. And that's fine. That's okay. You're not gonna hurt anyone, or you know, or I don't know, like, you know, that those are the little steps. I think that's what like you know, when people tell me, oh, can I have your protocol? I always think of like, how can I give people protocol? Because there was so many different things. It's so hard just to tell, oh, I did this and I got rid of cancer. No, it was like, it's a package. It's a luggage, probably like with 3 carry-ons on, right?
Yeah.
Loaded with like all these different things that you do. And everything matters. Every little step matters. So
You're so
yeah,
right. You're so
yeah.
right. Well, we are past the hour.
We
If
are.
anybody has any other questions, we can go ahead and answer them now. If not, we'll probably go ahead and have to wrap up for the evenings. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us tonight
Thank you.
and joining our conversation. Hopefully you found some of, you know, this information helpful. We're able to take some, you know, bits and pieces away. Hopefully that was, you know, a little bit of an insight of things. It's a different conversation when we're not talking about dietary habits really so much, or, you know, specifically getting into more of the science on things. But these are basics. These are basics that we all have faced when we've gone through cancer. These are basics that we face with our clients. And I mean, a lot of it is really, these are the things that a lot of times we don't talk about that do need to be addressed. So we just really are thankful that you were able to join with us tonight. Since we don't have any other questions, I guess we'll have to say goodnight for this week, and then we'll see you all next Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
All
Thanks,
right.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you,
Bye.
Leonard. Thank you, everybody. Bye, Melissa. Bye, Maria. Bye, Michelle. Bye, John.
Bye.
David, Orlando, Joyce,
Bye.
Angela, Darlene. Bye. Bye, Harmon.